I don't know, this guy might look familiar to some of you guys. He's kind of a little bit of a celebrity in my opinion, or maybe a big one in my opinion. I look up to this guy, he's pretty awesome. So go ahead and introduce yourself, sir, and tell these guys some good stories or something.
Thanks, man. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Charlie Melton. I was a Navy SEAL for 25 years. Most of that time I was a lead sniper or taught sniper school. I retired about 2 years ago. I live down in Normandy, Texas. We just started a little company. We teach long-range shooting, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate all you guys coming out, and if you guys want to talk, hear some stories, feel free to come over and we can sit down and chat. It's Charlie Mike Precision. We have a website, charliemikeprecision.com. You can go in there and it has biography and courses. We teach all over. So, all right.
Someone ask him a question, please.
Yes, sir. Axelson just built my first signature rifle. It's a 6.5 Creedmoor AR. That just came out like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, great gun. We do, for our one-day course, we teach a rifle setup and all that stuff, and then you'll dope your rifle out to 1,000 yards, and we teach wind calling and all that, just how to confirm everything. Just basically basic principles of marksmanship. Any other questions? Yes. Like average all of them? But most of my real world experience is in an urban environment, so farthest we shot out was like 800 yards. But for training, I've shot out to 4,300. So. Any other questions?
This is the time to ask this guy one time. Opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a big fan of the 6.5 Creedmoor, and that gun's dead on out to probably 1,500 yards. You can shoot all day long. 6.5 Creedmoor. There's all different rounds right now, but the ammo's cheap. It's actually cheaper than 308, and it performs a lot better. Yeah, we've shot several pigs out 1,100–1,200 yards with it, and it takes them out quick. I've actually shot a buffalo, but that was only like 100 yards. We run the 147s, I think. Yeah, the match grade ELT Hornady, and they perform really well in that gun. Yeah, basically, a lot of people have different theories on breathing. I teach shoot at your respiratory pause because that's an exact spot. It's going to be the same every time. Some people do half a breath or whatever, but me personally, I can't take a half a breath at the same spot every time. So I go with the respiratory pause. And then when you're running and gunning and stuff like that, you just take a deep breath and then exhale normal. You just speed up your breathing a little bit. Anything else?
Well, I can maybe ask a couple
Yes,
questions
sir.
on a little bit of a conversational format just for you guys. So, from your experience, you trained a lot of guys that are pretty hardcore, and from beginners level on up. What's some of the basic advice you would have in general? Just like, what are some of the biggest problems you see right away in terms of maybe the wrong paradigm in mind or things like that?
Yes, sir. We teach off of basic 7 principles of marksmanship, and it's just like building a house. If you don't have the basic principles of shooting, then you're never going to be able to be at your max game. So it's key through repetition and perfect practice. You do that over and over, and that builds muscle memory. So shooting becomes like a motor skill, like breathing or walking. It's just through repetition and perfect practice. If you get those 7 principles and get you a mental checklist every time you're shooting, you'll just build up that muscle memory, and works very well.
Do you recommend doing any kind of dry fire practice drills, or do you prefer them to just do live fire, or what's your recommendation?
No, dry firing is very important. I'd say most people, real good competitive shooters, they probably dry fire 50 to 80% of the time to the amount of live rounds they shoot. And that goes back to your basic stuff. When you're dry firing, you're just building that muscle memory through dry firing.
Yeah, a lot of guys make fun of the dry fire because it's not shooting, but it's kind of important to get the muscle memory down for sure. So in terms of equipment, what have been your observations in terms of shortcomings, or maybe people overdoing it in one area? Do you see any general trends with folks you run into?
Yeah, I'm a basic guy, so I like it. The simpler, the better. Mm-hmm. Like nothing's funnier than see guys the amount of flair they have on their gun when they come out. So, yeah, I keep it to the basics, keep it simple, and works out a lot better.
If you got enough stuff on your rifle, it's kind of like a grappling hook, so you can take half the sling off and throw it over the wall and then climb over it. I like to do that once in a while.
Especially when you're getting in and out of vehicles. Yes, sir. It's charliemikeprecision.com. Yes, sir.
And is there any other big things that are like psychological hang-ups or in terms of the spirit of the craft or anything like that? Any ninja type stuff you can tell us?
No, it's not ninja stuff. I think it's just, like I said, the basic principles. Most people that have trouble, they're just not doing one of those 7 things correctly. And you can tell exactly which one it is usually just by watching them shoot.
It's a huge emphasis on the fundamentals because the whole system rattles apart. Doesn't matter. You can't buy your way into a rifle.
Exactly.
For example, that's going to get you there. You got to get the fundamentals of marksmanship down real solid.
Yep.
Then solid equipment and then employing a strategy of some kind. Would you have preferences in terms of how you guys apply ballistic dope and stuff like that? Do you prefer computers? Do you always have paper charts as well? Or what's your observations on that too?
Well, when we teach how to keep a shooter's logbook, because as you know, a lot of guys use those computers, and I've seen them, they'll get you close, but until you shoot the yard lines, you're never going to know exactly where it's at. And as you know, every time you change altitude, temperature, wherever you're at in the world, it's going to be different. So the best thing to do is keep a shooter logbook every time you shoot in a different condition or whatever, and keep all that stuff logged, and then you can always look back through it wherever you're at. And that cold bore shot, you'll have a similar situation you've already shot, and it's usually pretty close.
Do you have a recommendation on which just make your own?
The logbook? You stand by on that one. I'm making my own right now. It'll be coming out soon.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely review that.
Yes, sir. Good optics is very important. Good ammo and a good spot and scope. With that, I use a Valdata scope. It's my new favorite scope. I used to be a Night Force guy. I switched over. Yes, sir. Yeah, on my primary we have fixed powers, but for my sniper rifle it was always variable power. Yeah, for shooting long distance, definitely. And a lot of people like the first focal plane now, but when I'm shooting out the distance, I like the second focal plane. Yes, sir. Yeah, because yeah, if you're doing that, I would definitely look in. Val makes some 52 power and 40 power scopes, so if you're doing that, you could use that for spotting and shooting. I just don't like with the single focal plane, your reticle stays the same all the way out. So when you get way out there, the reticle just covers the whole target, so it can't be as precise. With a second focal plane, that reticle changes size as you go out.
Yeah, for extreme long distances, the reticle can obstruct the target. Like if you're shooting at like top 10 or something way the heck out there, I mean the crosshairs will totally cover it up. So there's different specialized applications of fire where you might deviate from a standard recommendation.
Yeah.
So just be advised. I mean the equipment selection thing is fluid. And it is up to interpretation, and there's lots of professionals who do it different ways. Okay?
Yes, sir, very true. And the first focal plane, I mean, it's great for out to 1,000 yards, but when you start getting beyond that, it's a personal preference for me.
Do you prefer milliradians or minutes of angle?
I'm not very good at math, so I prefer minutes of angle.
Okay, yep. It's intuitive, yep.
Yeah,
yep.
It's easy.
For us American guys, yeah.
Oh. Very cool.
Any other good questions for you guys?
Hey, Charlie, now, how versus reality, I guess, for Captain Phillips, with having four or five shooters ship, with how was it that they were compensating for the pitch and the yaw and all that stuff?
You know that little thing you get put on your selfie stick that keeps your camera like a gimbal? We have a tripod like that, so it holds it steady as the boat's rolling. Any other questions?
Awesome, guys.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Good sport. He's a good sport.
You guys, we didn't know he was coming. But if you want to jumpstart your program here, this is where you want to go. It doesn't get any better than that.
death or death's kind of fate.
Grabs the whole rifle. We were firing a 50 cal off that, and then